Hello, my amazing people. Welcome to God Loves You channel, the home of news. If it is your first time of coming across this platform and you like what we are doing, kindly subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notification. This will enable you to know when we upload a new video. Here, we react to all forms of videos, local, international, especially what is happening in Nigeria. So, it is very, very important you like, share, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Let's do it constructively. You are free to criticize. Of course, everybody is entitled to their opinion. So, but let's, drop our arguments, whatsoever you feel about the video that you watch constructively, always in the comment section. Thank you so much.
There's this bill that is causing a lot of problems, bringing a lot of conversations between the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Fulanis, the South, and the Middle Belt. This bill, I repeat, a particular bill that is bringing a lot of conversation, a lot of disagreement between the Igbos, between the Yorubas, between the Fulanis, the northern part of Nigeria, the South, and also the Middle Belt. I would like to read this out. Now, this bill is linked to Senator Ovi Omagege, and it has passed its second reading in the Nigerian House of Representatives as of March 26, 2025, sponsored by Benjamin Okeze Kalu, the Deputy Chief from Abia State. Now, this bill seeks to grant indigenous status based on birth in a state. So if you are born in any state, you are automatically become an indigene. Now, residents for at least 10 years, if you have lived in that state for 10 years, you automatically become an indigene. Or marriage to an indigene. If you are married to an indigene, you automatically become an indigene. It aims to make indigeneity more inclusive, expanding access to rights, political roles, jobs, education. This is beyond ancestral ties, addressing discrimination against long-term residents or their spouses. Of late, we have seen the discrimination, the bigotry that has been spread all over Nigeria, and I don't know what the reasons why these people are saying that this bill is important. Now, there are so many negatives and positives to this bill, but let's have this straight. Nigerians are not united. This bill is going to cause a lot of crisis, a lot of chaos. Many people will feel threatened. Now, let's look at potential dangers to this bill by Baba Awori. Dilution of cultural identity. We are talking about preserving our culture and heritage. We are talking about a bill whereby people will just move from one rural setting to an urban setting. And because most people, the unequal positioning of Nigeria, there's some states that are vibrant, there's some states that are not vibrant. So people will tend to want to leave their own state of origin, suspend their culture and heritage because they love another one. They will leave their own and go and say, let me live here 10 years. Automatically now, and I'll become an indigene of that particular society. Cultural dilution of cultural identity. Some people, because of like what Nigerians do, they leave Nigeria, they jump back to other countries. They want to just get their indigene. They want to be an American citizen, a British citizen, a Canadian citizen. That is what this bill implies. And some people feel that it is a threat, especially the Yorubas, the Middle Belt, and the Southerners. They believe it's a threat to their cultural identity. I am against this bill. We need to also understand that this bill will further make some tribes very weak. Very, very weak. For instance, if an Igbo woman marries a Yoruba man, the children of that union tend to want to follow the mother's side or behave like the mother's side. If a Fulani woman marries a Yoruba man, the children of that union tend to want to align with the mother's side. But if a Yoruba woman marries an Igbo man, still the children of that union would likely want to tend to the father's side. If a Yoruba woman marries a Fulani man, the children of that union tends to want to align with the Fulani father's side. So, the clash of these cultures, if you make it official, it can happen. Maybe some people just like themselves, allow this one or two. But if you are making it a law, a bill that will be passed into law, it is something else. And I understand that some people really are envying some parts of the country and want to really be part of those countries. I've told my Igbo brothers, see, we need to preserve our culture and heritage. We need to know where we are coming from. Other people are preserving their cultures. This bill, you see, it is with the name Benjamin Kalu. Instead of looking on how you can develop the Southeast region and run an economy and solidify the Southeast base in Nigeria, you are looking at putting a bill whereby now we know that some states have much more advantage economically than other states. Then if this happens, do you know what will now transpire? Many people will leave their villages, the rural areas, and will want to shift to urban areas. Thereby, there's this postulation that by 2050, 50% of Nigerians will be found in Lagos State. So people will leave. We have more Lagosians. People will leave the southeast. People will leave the northern part of the country. People leave their place of origin, and they will be flocking into some of these states that have some economic advantage. That's why we have been fighting over the years. To avoid all these things, we have been asking, let there be equitable distribution of these infrastructures that we have in other states. An international airport in the southeast that travels anywhere, just that like the one in Abuja and the one in Lagos, so that people will not see the need of moving a mass from the southeast to the southwest. Like the Apapa Tinkan Wolf that we have, an operational one like that, not the ones they are playing politics. And they have it on no, not the politics one. We know when a port is a port, such like that in the southeast, we reduce this migration. But maybe since these things they are playing politics with that. That is why they might be pushing out for this kind of bill. So since you don't want to give us this, the Igbos have been asking, okay, give us Biafra so that we can. Because so many Southwesterners are complaining bitterly. The person that wrote this piece is a Southwesterner. His name is Baba Awori. Now, increased migration and conflict. That is number 2. Potential dangers. First is dilution of cultural identity. Critics may argue it weakens the traditional link between indigeneity and ethnic heritage, risking the erosion of local customs and control over resources by indigenous groups who see this as their historical right. Look at the Ijo Igbo. Look at the mix-up. Look at the identity crisis because of the result of people many together getting married and what have you. So if you now make it worse, if I live in a place, maybe if I go to Ijo and I live in Ijo for 10 years, I'm an indigenous of Ijo people. I might not want to even speak their language. I might not want to participate in their culture. So far, I have the evidence that I've lived there 10 years, or they gave birth to me there by birth, or I'm married to some Ijo persons. I'm an indigene. So I will not be dragging rights with the indigenes of those states. So some of these leaders, they still believe one Nigeria. I told you that the way these top guys reasons and the way we reason, they are two different things. Especially our Igbo leaders. This is pushed by Benjamin Okezie. You have failed in making the Southeast viable, and you are pushing a bill that will make people even leave the Southeast more to other states. Instead of us to push this your Southeast Development Commission, how to make governors accountable using the funds they have, push for international airport, push for a seaport, push for an eastern corridor, a railway that connects all the states, a gas pipeline that connects all the eastern states. How you can make the Southeast economically viable. You are coming to push a bill that is saying that indigene place of residence status. That means most of these are leaders, they don't really understand what is happening, really happening. Some Southwesterners are saying that the people that are interested in this bill are the Igbos and the Fulani. The Fulani really wants this kind of indigenous. Probably their gene is stronger. I used an example just earlier. If a Fulani woman marries a Yoruba man, the children would tend to want to follow the mother's side. Even the husband will now start behaving however, the children will follow the mother. If an Igbo woman marries a Yoruba man, most of the time, the children of that union won't follow the mother. I'm not saying that there's a superior gene, but it is proven to an extent. It's proven to an extent. So, if a South person marries an Yoruba man, it doesn't really go that way. If other tribes, the Middle Belt, it doesn't really go that way. So the major beneficiaries, in quote, of this bill are the Igbos and the Fulanis. So, number one, dilution of cultural identity. Number two, increased migration and conflict. Offering indigenous status after 10 years could encourage mass migration to resource-rich or urban states, potentially sparking tensions of violence between newcomers and original habitants, as seen in past indigenous settler clashes. So it will push a lot of people from the rural areas to the urban areas, whereby like Lagos, like Port Harcourt, like Kano, like Abuja, and some other states. It pushed a lot of people from those states into this state. Political exploitation. Mind you, I said it before, giving back to somebody in a place does not necessarily mean that the person will love to identify with the culture of that place. A person staying 10 years in a place does not necessarily mean that the person who stays 10 years in that place love the people or love the culture of the people. Even marrying somebody from that particular place of residence does not mean that they love their people or they want to identify with their people, in quote. So there's a difference between, for instance now, I'm Igbo. A Fulani is born in Igbo land. Does not mean that Fulani loves Igbo. But because of this law, the Fulani person will now say, I will claim to be an indigenous of this land. And we knowing who the Fulanis are and what they are capable of, they will sustain their own culture and cultural identity. They will import their own whatever into the Igbo land. And from there, you see mass taking over lands. They will be trooping in Igbo land because of this particular law. Will make some people want to be grabbing land, grabbing so many things. So many things. This is how I look at this particular law. We don't really need such a thing like this. We need to advance our societies. So somebody will now go to Benin and stay in Benin or Edo State. He's giving birth to in Edo State. He now claims to be an indigenous of Oman West local government. Of Uromi. Of Isha. So that person, because he's born there. These are not realities. These are not realities. It doesn't really make you. So they are trying to push this bill, forgetting that we need regional development. That's what we need, though. That's what we need. You see the Oyibo people, they document their history. They preserve their culture and heritage. They can tell their history. Look at Brazil. And look at when they are doing their festivals. Look at what they do. Tells you that they don't forget their background and heritage. So some of these bills you are passing will fight the identity. It's fight identity crisis. It will create identity crisis. Number two. Number three, political exploitation. We have number one, dilution of cultural identity. Number two, increased migration and conflict. Number three, political exploitation. There was accusation last time in Lagos that some people imported 500,000 whatever. I don't believe that is true. I can't confirm it. So people can easily want to take over a civilization by bringing themselves into that civilization for a long period of time. 4, security risk. Security risk. Regions with ethnic and religious strife. Fulani herdsmen disputes. Thank God this person put the Fulani herdsmen dispute. it could cause security risks. If you allow these guys, especially the Fulani, see, and the Igbos are not even the problem, because what all these things Benjamin Kalu is saying, most of us, we do not even look at it or support it. An average Igbo man wants out, wants Biafra, an average Igbo man. It is the elites that are enjoying the Nigerian thing, that they are the ones, you can see there's a disconnect the people have with the elites and their allies. The people, there's a disconnect they have with their elite and their allies. I want a country that will benefit the people. This one is just to pacify themselves. An average Igbo man does not want to dominate somebody's land. If you see an Igbo man in your land, he wants to do business and make it. He's not there to dominate your lands or anything. If there's a Biafra today, you'll be surprised how many Igbos will be willing to leave some of these their investments for the meantime and go and identify with a country called Biafra. And they'll be even very, very happy to be called foreigners when they even have their Biafra. It is the Fulani that doesn't want that. The Fulani wants to grab the land and impoverish and dominate the people there. Igbos, whatever Zeke was doing, I've said it, whatever Zeke or Aginos were doing, they're doing because of their own selfish interests. It does not represent the larger Igbo people. If you give the Igbo people port, or there's an airport, or facilities are being built without all these analysts that are going up and down saying that the Eastern Corridor, or they have a gas pipeline that they connect to Eastern states, the transparency, we will see it. If you have all these things, Igbo youths, Igbo graduates will want to go back to their state and run the society. But the Fulani have everything, but still they want to go to other people's land. They have everything. They are in the government, they are connected, they are in the military, they are NNPC, see them, wherever, everywhere you just see them, they are there, but yet they still want to grab people's land. The Igbos are not like that. The reason why I see this migration is because of the less opportunities you find in the southeast and the concentration of the federal government in Lagos. That's why I see Igbos go where opportunities are. Create the same opportunities in the southeast. Then you see, you understand that Igbo people are not dominate. Igbo people are not supporting Benjamin Kalu. He's doing that on his own. I've told my Igbo brothers, Lagos is, you can't leave your place. You can't leave your culture and heritage, your identity as a people. You have not advanced it. You have not solidified it. You are not sure that the next generation will be able to identify themselves with what you have left on ground. We are talking about going to become indigenous in another person's land. How can you develop your cultural identity in another person's land more than your own land? Why not focus on your own land? So this bill for me is just another avenue for clashes, for banter online and everything. I don't think this bill is going to pass. Now, ambiguity and abuse, victims, continued residence or marriage duration could lead to inconsistent application, corruption, and legal disputes over who qualifies, especially without clear safeguards. While the bill promotes inclusion, its broad criteria could destabilize Nigeria's delicate ethnic and regional balance, potentially trading one form of exclusion for new conflict or power struggles. Please kill this bill immediately. The initial person that initiated this bill is Omar Gege. Now, the current sponsor is the deputy leader of the House of Rep, that is Benjamin, I don't like calling them honorable, Benjamin Okezie Kalu. It's going to further lead to a big ethnic crisis, resistance upon resistance, if this bill is passed. But I trust the Tinubu government. I trust the Tinubu government. Yoruba leaders will have been speaking to the president now. They will have been talking to the president. Look at the disadvantages of this bill. The Yoruba race is under threat. Lagos is threatened by this bill. Baba, do not allow this bill move. If this bill move, Lagos is threatened, especially Lagos. Nobody from the southeast is targeting Lagos. Anybody you see doing whatever they are doing on their own. I think the Fulani are much more beneficiaries of this. Give the northern states whatever they need. These Fulani people still will have intentions of doing whatever they want to do. Give the southeast all these infrastructures that they need. When they have these opportunities, because an Igbo man, I have said it before, they go where opportunities are. That's why I see they travel over the world where opportunities are. If you can't, they cannot sit idle in a place. Look at how they turned Aba and Onitsha market to. Look at how the manufacturing, you say they manufacture fake drugs and all have you and blah, blah, blah. They are so ingenious to the extent that if they can't have access to all this equipment and whatever, they make it for themselves. You know how they create opportunity. So an Igbo man wants to go where there's opportunity. To the extent that even in Aba, I went to Réjéct market, I went to Osisioma Gangagang. I saw the things that were happening in Osisioma. Ngwa Road. When I got to Aba, I didn't even see that one place. I was just walking up and down. I was looking at the ingenuity of these people. So an Igbo man wants where there's opportunity. He doesn't necessarily want to take over the land. In Aba, most of the people that own buildings in Aba are not Abia people. Most of the people that own different houses along the southeast, most of them are not people that are working in the Abia state government. Most of them are not from Abia. The head of civil service is not, I think, is not an Igbo man. So an Igbo man wants to go where opportunity is and is happy, succeeding, wanting to do better and contribute to society. But the Fulani is no. I think this bill will not pass. They are just wasting their time. This bill, I don't support this bill. I want Igbos to develop Igbo land. I want Yorubas to develop Yoruba land. The Fulani, I don't know where you come from. The Hausas, they should develop Hausa land. The Middle Belt, South, everybody should develop their land. And however, let them have control of their land and make their laws for themselves.